And hello, governor, because you can mimic any voice of any group of people, and it doesn't have to be racist, right? That's the world we live in today. We dope with that. We cool with that, people. So, what a fucking week it has been for me. Ooh, not a week for me. It is like I don't have any complaints actually. Uh, I'm finding footsteps here. Like, 'cause my problem is starting a fucking habit. That's my problem. Is starting a habit. I can do a habit. I can if I get to the habit part of it, I'll do it like I'll do it every day. Like you don't not wash your ass every day, like because you kind of have to. But like I guess doing the things on your own in your own spare time or whatever kind of gets complicated sometimes. However, I'm trying to get in the habit of doing it. Like that's what I said for 2018 is that I'm going to get in the habit of making sure my stupid ass records and that has like a weekly podcast and talks about relevant issues. Thank you, sir. I'm at my favorite place, Moore's Delicatessen. It's a fancy place. It's really good food. I love coming here, especially on payday. But I love coming here because the food is so good. It's so good. The food is good. And it's like cage free. And they play like really dope music. They play indie music. I feel like this is a place that like you would go to in Scott Pilgrim. And they didn't have that in Baltimore. So, I miss chicken boxes. And that might be the blackest thing I've ever said, but fuck you. I miss chicken boxes. But there's a lot of different good food out there in LA. I can never be wrong. I mean, you're gonna hear me eat. You're gonna hear me smack. Because they have fresh sourdough bread here. Like, get your life, man. Have you ever look right here? There's some SRM for you. I'm gonna eat this one thing of toast. I'm gonna hurry up and record this thing. I'm gonna eat my food because I earned it this week. I have a nice cup of coffee. Um, just generally getting things done. I love coming to this place so much. It's across the street from Cartoon Network. I'm in the back room where they have all of the drawings for just everything. Like so, every cartoon you can think of, basically they come here to eat. And so like I didn't even know about that. A guy that worked at Cartoon Network showed me this, and I was just like, oh, this is my place now. This is like I came here anyway before that, but I always sat in the front room and just like would look out the window. But the back room plus the food plus the music, it's literally my favorite place. Like if I had a bankai and you go inside my mind, it would be deli contestant here. It'd be this place. Hold on, you about to hear me take a big old crunch. Mm. Not going to be long. We're going to talk about a few things. It was just crazy. It's been a crazy fucking week. Aziz Ansari, fuckers in the news, sex allegations. Who'da thunk it? Not my boy Aziz, man. Not Aziz. You never would have thought it was him. That's literally the last guy. Mmm, so good. I know you're mad right now, but just you mad because you don't have sourdough with jelly in front of you right now. There you go. I'm going to hurry this out. This is going to be a quick podcast. I don't want my food to get cold. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Ooh, we don't want to play that yet. We don't want to play any of this yet. We don't want to play any of this yet. This has been a crazy week. Um, so Black Lightning came out, so I'm happy. All right, I kind of like Naruto is such a generic anime. It's not. I don't have a problem with generic animes. I love them, but their soundtrack, like basically the music cues, always come at the same time. So when Naruto's giving like a motivational speech about determination, he they'll usually play one song. So I took that music and added to Martin Luther King's particular part of "I Have a Dream" speech, and it really worked out. It really sounds good. But Aziz, I'm sorry with the misconduct thing. I mean, like there's sexual misconduct. There's a bunch of different things. I didn't want to believe it at first, so I had to read the story. And there were just some odd details and some odd accounts to it, which is odd. I'm gonna take one more bite of this sourdough. I'm gonna take one more bite of this sourdough. Hold on. Gotta hurry up. It's losing its crunch. It's losing its crunch. I gotta go. This starts an interesting discussion because I somewhere think that this falls between having a bad date and saying no more than once is too many. I didn't want to believe it. I think there's more to it. It's just weird. It's an odd story. Um, it's We can't assume that everyone is out for blood, but we also can't assume that we can't assume that everyone's out for blood. But we also can't afford to assume that a story is false. I hope that this gets cleared up. Um, Essentially, but also it starts an interesting dialogue. And honestly, I think you get to a certain point in your age and trying to fuck as soon as possible is kind of like an unreachable thing. Just like you should really get to know the fucking person, and I think that's something even I've had to admit to myself that maybe the end goal isn't when I meet a woman to try to always not. That sounds horrible. But the end goal of meeting a woman is not always trying to sleep with her, but actually trying to get to know her, to see where her mental space is at, because you don't know what a person's been through when you meet them. You know, at least not for the first 3 months, right? Because like for the first 3 months, you're dating a person's representative. That's a bit, by the way. That's not my bit. That's someone else's bit. Um, but that's just insane though. I just feel sad about it because it's like, nah, not him. Like, and everyone, like, I hated the term, like, who else? Who else? Who else? Like, I didn't even know that homeboy, fucking you call, what's his name? Um, James Franco. Yeah, James Franco. I didn't even know he was doing that shit with like a 17-year-old. But I am from the state of Maryland, where I believe it's 17 and 8 months is the legal consent. So 18 is not even the consent age in Maryland. So some places dating a 17-year-old is acceptable, but is it like morally acceptable? Which I don't really want to fucking get into that. I remember high school and it was shitty, so I wouldn't want to date a 17-year-old at all. Huh. A fucking a black hole fucking burped in rapid succession, and I was teaching scientists a bunch of shit that I don't understand. I wonder if like what type of like me personally, like the stuff that it burped, like did it burp matter into our universe? Does it matter from a different universe? Like, because the whole theory about where black holes could leads to a different part of space. Excuse me. That black holes lead to a different part of space, or even sometimes a whole nother universe. Mm, last piece of toast. Sorry, so good. If an old lady could eat, I don't know, a pickle on fucking or a cucumber on fucking YouTube and charge you money for it, I can fucking crunch toast on my podcast that no one's listening to, which I'm not mad about at all. Anyway, um, crazy week, and like I guess like Trump has finally struck a nerve or whatever the fuck. Like he's always doing something at this point. I'm tired of talking about it. I'd hoped to ignore him and then it would go away, but that hasn't been the case. Our president, our chief and commander, has said some derogatory statements in the aspect of, um, quite simply put, in the aspect of the calling African and Haitian countries, or just African people, or those of African descent, like outside the United States shitholes. And I guess in assuming referring to the fact that some of these places, like some parts of Africa, are in a third world situation, or some parts of Africa are in fact a third world country. Haitian and Jamaica, also third world countries as well, to the point where the only real work that you can get in Jamaica is, tourism. That's it. And not to judge me for that. If you work in that, that's good for you. You're getting, hey, pick up an envelope. As long as you always picking up an envelope, I ain't never gonna judge you. Fuck that. Uh, However, referring to a third world country as a shithole is basically insensitive. And I guess like the racism part, for like, would he do that if there was a white third world country? And I'm trying to think of a predominantly white third world country. Seriously, like I don't even think Greece is, and Greece is like super like bankrupt. Um, basically, but anyway, like in him doing that or calling that, it upset a lot of people. And then when people were asked about it, they basically said, "Hey, I don't remember that happening. I don't recall." And that was basically, I don't know, hurry up, but that was basically like disappointing. And who, you know, mm, 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 mm. I'm sorry, it's so good. Um, let me see, make sure I'm not talking too loud and everyone can hear me and no one's a big deal. Okay, well, um, basically, basically, uh, what else is new? What else is truly new? They, we know that he doesn't care. He knows that when it comes to any other race but his own. We saw who he called up when he got when he was hired. We saw who he called up. He went to like these are the people who represent the most black people to me. You know, and try to get every degree of it. We got Kanye West, so we can get the artsy black kids. We got um, what do you call his name? Steve Harvey. We got Steve Harvey, so we can get the old black people involved. And then also, uh, who else did he bring up? I forgot who else he brought up, but he just brought up people that were kind of like, I don't know. Oh, and then I think an athlete. So whatever. They came and got their $1 million check. I can't be mad at that. I've sold out for much, much less personally, right? Um, so I am doing more stand up. That's great. That's what I want to talk about in my life, is that I'm doing more stand up and I'm working on doing freelance work. Mm, I'm gonna go eat my food. I'm so sorry. It's so good. It really isn't much of a podcast. This is me talking about the events. Not much interjection on it. But I'm just gonna put something on for the sake of putting something because I have to focus on eating this food right now. It is so good. So hold on.